Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have a special guest on my channel. Please introduce yourself to the readers.
Hi, I'm Trevy McDonald. I'm the author of the novels Time Will Tell and its sequel Round About Midnight.
Okay. And what is your genre and what attracted you to that genre?
I would call it women's fiction, and I think of it as contemporary fiction with a literary flair. I wanted to create the stories of women's voices that are sometimes not often told.
Okay. What do the words writer's block mean to you?
Writer's block for me, it means that um I'm trying to, in writing fiction, I'm trying to take my characters someplace they're not supposed to go. And that's usually when I get writer's block.
Okay.
And when I stop and listen to them, I can get out of it. But it took me a while to kind of learn that.
Mhm. What is the most difficult part of your writing process?
Right now for me is actually finding the time with everything that I've had to, deal with the workload, the increased workload of having to move online virtually during the pandemic and then also becoming a caregiver. So finding the time is I would say the most difficult part of the process because when I write, I tend to need like really large chunks of time that are uninterrupted. And
Mhm.
I can write in a flow for maybe 4 or 5 hours. But if I have to stop and do things, it's just hard for me to get right back there.
Okay. Now, give us a brief description of your book called Time Will Tell.
Sure. Time Will Tell is a coming of age story about the power of friendship in the lives of three women from the south side of Chicago who they met in Sunday school when they were 11. They graduated from high school together, and now they're going to their 10-year high school reunion. So it really looks at the power of friendship in their lives and how the power of friendship between these three women has really sustained them.
Why did you write Time Will Tell?
My own, this is really funny now looking back because my own 10-year high school reunion was coming up and I felt like I was getting old. Now, I was like only in my mid 20s, but at that time, I guess that was the oldest I had ever been at that time. And I wondered, I had two really close friends in high school, but we kind of lost contact. We went to colleges in different parts of the country. But I wondered what might our lives have been like if we had maintained that contact and that connection.
Okay, okay, okay. Now, tell us about, are you a plotter or you're a pantser?
I'm definitely a plotter.
Okay. And what comes first, the plot or the characters, and why?
So for Time Will Tell, the
Mhm.
plot came first. I knew that I wanted to write about these friends going to their high school reunion. And then I spent time like really developing the characters. I used a book by a man named Robert Ray titled The Weekend Novelist. And in the earlier version of the book, he since revised it and reorganized it. But the book is designed to help you write a novel in a year just by working on weekends. And I used the first section was on building your characters. I already kind of knew the plot and the main plot points, but I really delved in. So he has different exercises. Go someplace, watch people, watch their mannerisms. How does someone cross their legs if like they're sitting at a bar drinking coffee or something and things like that, to doing a series of what ifs to get the backstory for your character, and even like kind of writing a really detailed life resume of them down to their favorite room in the house. What is their favorite saying, favorite foods.
Okay. So, who are the characters in Time Will Tell?
So they are Thomasine, Rachel, and Hope. And if I can just show you the characters on the cover. Thomasine over here, she's the preacher's daughter. She's red hot. She's into everything and everything but everybody and everything but herself. And then
Mhm.
she has a 10-year, she has a spiritual awakening and changes her life around. Rachel in the middle has a really sunny personality, and she's the glue that keeps the three characters together. And then over here you have Miss Hope, who's very blue. I describe her as masquerading self-righteousness for saintliness. And then the world that she spent 10 years building comes crashing down around her all at once. So my artist, cover artist, actually used primary characters to describe their moods and personalities. She read the book as I was writing it.
Which character do you relate to the most and why?
Actually, all three.
Hmm.
I would say Thomasine's education and career path was most like mine. Rachel's personality is more like mine because I try to be a uniter, make sure everyone gets along. Even within my family, I try to unite relatives and cousins maybe who haven't met each other because my mom was from a large family and we're spread across the country. And then when I was writing Time Will Tell, I had an obsession with food. My mom said when I went back home to Chicago to write the book, I would make trips back and forth all day between the kitchen and the bedroom with a bowl of something. And I gave that to Hope. And it was a little bit cathartic for me.
Hmm. What inspired the idea for the book?
My own, high school reunion was coming up. And then I'm also a big lover of music. And I was watching and again, I thought at 27 I was getting old and I wanted to find a way to weave like the music from my youth in to this book. So I titled all of the chapters after songs. And most of the songs were current when the chapters were set and relate to a theme in the chapter.
Hey, all right. Um, what or well, how important is professional editing to your book's development?
Oh my goodness, it is extremely important. And you have to find someone who is a professional editor. You can't get your cousin who is an English major. And then I think even when you go and make the corrections, you need a separate set of eyes to go
Yeah,
through, because that was what happened with the very first version of Time Will Tell. I had the editor. I actually made more errors in the process of making the corrections because, like, I had someone grinning, or I said with a grin, and the editor said change it to grinning, and then it ended up being published as with a grinning. So I learned the hard way, but that is just so important. It's something that you don't want to not do, and you don't want to just try to get the cheapest person because they might not be the best.
yes, yes.
And then it's also important that your editor understands the culture and the context that you're writing about.
Right. Okay, let's go back to characters. How did you come up with the character names for the story?
Okay, so with Thomasine, her father's name is Thomas and her brother's name is Tommy, so her mom named her Thomasine. With Hope has cousins named Faith and Charity. So like her mother's sisters named their daughter, so her grandmother's granddaughters are Faith, Hope, and Charity. And then with Rachel, I'm not exactly sure where I got Rachel's name from. I think I was gonna do some play on like Rachel and Leah in the Bible, and then it just ended up taking a whole different turn.
Okay. How do you get inside your characters' heads when you're writing?
So one of the things that I did, I always find floor plans for where my characters live, of either houses or apartments, so I can just really visualize how they navigate in the spaces where they live. I really get to know them very intimately, and I can feel their range of emotions. I remember when I was near the end of writing Time Will Tell, I like really felt where Thomasine was, and it caused me to have sleepless nights almost because I
Wow.
felt the emotions of what was like finally happening for her in her life, and the excitement, the joy, the concerns, the trust issues. I felt all of that. And I'm really able to like really kind of get into my characters' heads and really, almost embody them and feel and really write to and appeal to those emotions.
Okay. Can you read an excerpt from your book, please?
Sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, my characters met in Sunday school when they were 11. They attend the same high school, and now they are going off to separate colleges. So the story starts chronologically at the senior prom. So I graduated from high school in 1987, and the chapter about the senior prom is titled Always, which was a really popular song by Atlantic Star. And then after the senior prom is called Don't Disturb This Groove by the System.
Yes, yes. Hmm.
Yeah, so this excerpt again is from right like their last get together before they go off to college. I can't believe summer's almost over. Rachel walked over to the sofa. It seems like just yesterday we were going to the prom and graduating. The trio had assembled in Thomasin's basement to kick it real hard one last time before going to college. They had just finished a stuffed pizza from Michelangelo's, drank their favorite pops, as we call it in Chicago, not soda, and dished up 3 bowls of daiquiri ice. And now it's almost time for Hope to head south. Thomasine licked her spoon. Are you excited? No, I'm not thrilled about going, but I don't want to burst Mother's bubble. All my life she has talked about me going to Harrington. You should be more excited, Cena remarked. You get to go to Harrington in sunny Savannah, and I have to go to some no-name school in wintry Wisconsin. I'd rather trade places with you any day. At least you don't have to stay here. I mean, Duncan is a good school and all, but it's here in Chicago. But you get to live in the dorm. You don't have to commute, Cena said. You two don't know how good you have it. Hope down in Savannah with the water and warm sun, and Rachel here with perpetual house music and all the slims. Who's that? Hope asked as the girls heard a noise at the side door located at the top of the steps. It must be Tommy, Cena answered as she heard the familiar rhythm of Tommy barreling down the stairs to the basement carrying his laundry. Hey, Rachel and Hope, Tommy greeted the girls. Oh, I forgot tonight was your sleepover. Cena, would you please wash these clothes for me? Sure, Tommy. You better enjoy this now because my days of doing your laundry are numbered. That's right. I can't believe you all are going off to college in a few weeks. Seems like just yesterday you all were little freshies dodging the pennies. You all are making me feel so old. But before you go, I have just one thing to say. Although Cena is my only sister, each of you is like a little sister to me. And I'm going to tell you the same thing I plan to tell Cena right before she leaves for Wisconsin. I want each of you to think long and hard about what I'm about to say and always remember it. Would you cut to the chase? Cena wished her brother would get to the point. You all are going off to school. Remember why you're there. You aren't there for a modeling career, although you should always make it a point to look good. Study hard, have fun, enjoy these years, say no to drugs, and by all means, don't listen to those sweet talking, trifling ass big men on campus. Don't let them fool you and knock you up. He glanced at each of them because I don't want to have to make any unplanned trips to Wisconsin, the North Side, or Savannah to straighten out a sticky situation. I expect each of you to return with your degrees within 4 years. Don't come home without it, Tommy told the girls. Now always remember what I just told you. Thank you for your words of wisdom, big brother, but aren't you running late for work? Yeah, I better run. Now give me a hug. Enjoy this time. Tommy hugged Hope. Say no to drugs. He hugged his sister. And by all means, please stay away from those big men on campus. He hugged Rachel. And I do expect each of you to keep in touch. You can get my address from Cena. Tommy barreled up the stairs and out the side door while Rachel and Cena rolled their eyes at him. Please excuse my big brother. He gets a little sentimental at times. Oh, that's all right. What he said was very true, Hope replied, once he got it out. In a few weeks, we will have parted our paths. We'll be saying so long to our man and catch you later to each other. And this proved to be a little bit prophetic.
So, who is your target audience?
That's a really interesting question because I wrote it like for women, their 20s and 30s. And then I felt like it's a really good book for people who might be getting ready to go away to college, especially if they were as sheltered as I was, to read before they go to college. But one of my readers who has actually read the book, both of the books back to back twice, is now 102 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she's read both books. So she said she was able to relive her young days, your younger years, through my characters and through their situations.
Yeah. When you said you graduated in 1987, I graduated in 88, and they did play Always at the prom.
Okay.
That's why I was laughing. Um, what do you want readers to take away from your book?
I think Time Will Tell is really, it's a story about friendship. It's also a story about redemption. So we make choices in life, some good, bad. We learn from our mistakes. And I feel like no matter, but really with both of the books, what you face, experience, the bad choices you make, you can always overcome them.
Yes, yes. Tell us about your publishing journey.
So when I wrote Time Will Tell, I was in a little writing group with a member of my church, and she had an MBA. I just got my doctorate in communication. She convinced me that we did not need New York, that we could start a company and publish these books ourselves. I
Mhm.
was relying very heavily on her MBA. So I finished writing my book like in about a year and a half. And she never finished writing hers. And I had to really step out on faith. And I almost got into a bad sort of subsidy publishing arrangement before I stepped out on faith and started Rayomi Publishing and published Time Will Tell. And like to really sum up the journey, I wrote a little haiku called Commit. Commit to your dream and the desired resources are provided now. Because once I made that commitment, like literally within a week, I had everything I needed in place to send the book to the printer. Like once I made that commitment, the things that I didn't know how to do, people kind of showed up. I call them my angels. And they were like, well, yeah, I can lay the book out. It won't take me that long to do that. Or this is what you need to do to set up your company. And it was to me getting, this was back in 99, a block of ISBN numbers in 2 days, back when they had to like send them to me UPS before everything was more online. So make that commitment. And I think the way technology has evolved, it's a lot easier because when I published Time Will Tell initially in 1999, I had to print like 2,000 copies. I had to send them camera ready pages. We weren't uploading just electronic files like we are now. There were, I think there was a company that did ebooks, but it wasn't as robust as Kindle and Nook and Apple Books. Books were kind of just books, but now I think of books as content that can be packaged in different formats to reach different audiences, whether it's audio, printed book, or an ebook.
Okay. What do you need in your writing space to help you stay focused?
Interestingly, I write best at night. So if I can write from like maybe sometimes 8 in the evening to as late as 6 in the morning, if I'm really like in the
Okay.
groove. So I kind of have to, I'm a college professor. I kind of have to write in the summers when I don't have to work or have to teach or have a busy schedule.
What do you think is the best way to improve writing skills?
You have to write every day. You need to read.
Mhm.
One of the things that I found helps me out is to like read it aloud and record it so I can hear how it sounds. And one thing I heard Rashonda Tate Billingsley once say is always remember there's a delete button. So go on and get started. Because if it's something that you don't like, something you need to take out, you can just remove it easily. What you're putting on the page is not the final version, it's a draft.
Okay. Is this time will tell, is this part of the series?
Yes, it is. So this Time Will Tell is the first book in the series. Round About Midnight is the second book. I want to do some spin-off books with some of the other characters, like including Thomasine's parents who came of age in the 40s and 50s, Thomasine's brother who came of age because he's 10 years older than her in the 70s when I think the music was the best.
Yes.
And I'm doing a lot with chapter titles because in Roundabout Midnight, all of the chapters are titled after songs, and they're all jazz songs
Mhm, mhm.
because of my love for music. And I used to be a DJ in college, and then when I taught at North Carolina Central as well, so I tie music in.
Okay. How did you come up with the title Time Will Tell?
So both of the books are titles of songs from an early recording by Wynton Marsalis. He did an album when he played with Art Blakey when he was like maybe late teens, called The All American Hero. But initially, I had three titles. They were bridges because I think of friendships as being like bridges and connecting.
Mhm.
Time Will Tell and Time Marches On. And I had people vote, and Time Will Tell got the most votes.
Okay. What is your favorite part in the book and why?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say it was probably be the end because of, and I was, when I wrote the book, I was young and foolish enough to think it was a good idea to end it with a cliffhanger, not knowing that life would happen for me and it would take me nearly 20 years to write the sequel. But I think I had the most fun writing that. I also saw like where my characters came and all that they went through and sort of the resolution
Hmm.
of that.
Okay. What aspects of your own life help inspire this book?
Ah, I one of the things that I wanted to do with both of the books was present a little bit of a different image of Black people and Black life than what we see in traditional media and especially popular media. So my characters are from my dad said we were lower middle class, we were working class,
Mhm.
but the importance of education was instilled in my characters from an early age, so that was just really important. And I also wanted to present more positive images. Yes, you go through trials, but how you handle those and how you deal with those um are different, I think, than what we see a lot in mainstream media and especially like television and film.
Mhm. What has been your greatest accomplishment thus far in your career, in your writing career?
Ooh, my greatest accomplishment. I wrote, when I wrote Time Will Tell, I wrote a word that I kind of made up. And back in 2017, when I was doing my package for tenure and promotion at the university, I just kind of Googled myself, and the word is hypocristian. So you're a hypocrite, but you're supposed to be this holier than thou Christian, but you're really hypocrite. So it's hypocristian. And that was like the first time that word was in print, was in my book. So I kind of coined a new word that I didn't realize until several years later when I did a search.
Okay. What what is your role in the literary industry?
So I am primarily an author. I do a lot of consulting with people who are trying to get started in publishing. When I first published Time Will Tell, the entire literary landscape was different. And then I kind of jumped back into this in 2018, and everything has changed because we have Kindle, because of even just how books are published is different and just much more instantaneous. So I wanted to kind of learn this new literary landscape before I considered publishing other authors. And I also feel that it's only fair that I have the time and the resources to promote their books and give them the energy and attention that they deserve. But I think of myself primarily as an author and storyteller.
So what are you working on right now?
I have stuff marinating in my head. I want to do a series for middle grade readers,
Okay.
to teach them about the civil rights movement. And writing for that age group, I think it's a little bit scary for me because I've always written for adults, and I know that there are certain sort of rules and there's certain vocabulary and like even spelling words that you want to include when
Mhm.
you write for that age group so that you can get the books into school systems. And then I have some I ended round about midnight, but so it doesn't have a cliffhanger like Time Will Tell, but I've met with readers and they're like, you got to have more with these characters, or I want to see these characters when they're turning 50, or I
Right.
want to know more about this person. So there's probably going to be some spin-off books as well.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any book events for the remainder of the year?
I don't have anything coming up. Um, Unfortunately, I have been like really kind of overwhelmed with work and caregiving that I just haven't been able to get out like I would like to. but I'm hoping that that changes for 2023 and that I'm able to devote more time to writing as well as book events.
Okay. Is there anything else? Well, let me ask you this. Where can we find you and your books?
At online retailers. So I'm on definitely on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble, on Apple Books. I'm working on audiobooks for the both of the books. And then I really encourage people to support independent bookstores. So IndieBound is another place where you can order the book as well.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
I just want to go back to that haiku. Commit to your dream. Everybody has a dream. Don't be afraid to commit to it, because when I made that firm commitment, people again came out of the woodworks literally to
Mhm.
help me with the things I didn't know how to do. So I
Mhm.
believe that your dreams are most possible and that you should go after them.
Thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Queenie, and I appreciate all that you're doing as a literary ambassador to
Thank
support
you.
authors, some well known, some lesser known, and the work that you do for us is extremely important. So I'm extremely grateful to you and
Thank
for you.
you. Thank you. Can you show your book one more time so they know
Sure.
how the book looks when they go to Amazon to get it? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in today. Again, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.